Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar today that is on motor vehicle expenses. So what we are going to look today, we are going to look today at a motor vehicle worksheet in TaxCycle. I'm going to show you how to share that worksheet between spouses, allocate kilometers to different income statements, enter fuel and maintenance expenses, take a look at loan interest, CCA, and leasing cost. And we should get right into it. It will take us approximately 20 minutes. So let's dive right into the TaxCycle. So I'm going to share my screen and here we go. So we are now in John's return, T1 return for 2023, and this is a return where I have a business statement in it already, and you will see that this is where I have a T2125. I also have a rental statement T776 in here, and this is the very first thing that you should know before you create a motor vehicle worksheet in TaxCycle, and you really want to set up your income statement and then allocate any of the kilometers. If you forget to do that, it's okay. You can go back and do the income statement after, but really the easiest thing is to start with income statement and then go to the motor vehicle worksheet. The motor vehicle worksheet is from the sidebar. You can access it. So first I like to do is collapse all and then click on worksheet. And then after that, you can get into the motor vehicle worksheet. This is a multi-copy form. And that means that you can create as many copies of this worksheet as you like. Basically, you create one worksheet for each vehicle that has expenses. So that's how you divide it up. You don't put two vehicle set of expenses on one worksheet. So you make a worksheet for vehicle 1 and then another worksheet for vehicle B. Generally, you are using this worksheet to calculate out the business portion or the portion of expenses that need to go onto the income statement. If you have a vehicle that is fully owned or registered by the business or the partnership, you can enter this information directly on the income statement as well. So for example, as I have T2125, you can do a lot down here. If I scroll it down, you can get to the part B. So you can do a lot in here. Otherwise, it will flow into the bottom here. This is the portion for part B under chart A, motor vehicle expenses. So let's get started. This is John, who has an ice cream business and also a rental property. So that's the two income statement that we have for him. And also, I am going to start making some entries on this motor vehicle worksheet for him. So let's enter in here. Let's look into this one. So let's say he has Ford E-Series. So you can see that as soon as we start entering the information, we saw that we do have two income statements here. So we're gonna put the date of the date when it acquired. So, and let's say he drove 30,000 kilometers in this year. So we got that information in here. So as soon as I put information about this vehicle in this worksheet, it gives it a name. As you can see at the top, motor vehicle Ford E-Series. And from the sidebar here as well, you can see motor vehicle Ford E-Series. The great thing about this is that if you hit F4 and if you search with the vehicle name, you will be able to get this worksheet with the vehicle name as well. And you can see its preview on the side as well. Great. Underneath here, you see this little checkbox here that says show motor vehicle details on Mavis return. Mavis is John's spouse, and this is where you can choose whether this worksheet will also appear in Mavis return. So by default, we say yes. The reason why we do that is this allows you to then really easily allocate the expense if they have one vehicle that might be used for another business on the other side for the spouse side. You can share these expenses and allocate them out as you need to. So I am going to hit F5. So you can see as we had yes over there, so we do have Ford E-Series motor vehicle worksheet for Mavis as well. And I'm going to go back to John's return here. And if I say no here and I go back to Mavis return, you can see that we don't have Ford E-Series motor vehicle worksheet anymore here. We don't have that in here. So we're gonna go back, hit F5, and then we're gonna leave it as it is. So for any reason you need to, if for any reason you need to share the expenses between the two spouses, you want to check yes, because otherwise you will end up with the duplicate worksheet and a lot more work for yourself. That's why we leave it like this. If you check yes, it just means that the worksheet is there. If you never allocate any kilometers on Mavis side for the for things, the information or the amount on this worksheet don't get applied to income statement. So it's just kind of sitting there with the data. So don't worry about it. The next section on this worksheet is allocation to employment expenses, a business or rental statement. This is where you decide where your client need to have a logging, where your client needs to have been logging the kilometers that are used for each business or properties that they are involved in. I am assuming that they would be providing you with the logs or summary, and that summary you could keep it as well in the TaxCycle if you need to. CRA sometimes wants to see a log of these things, and remember your clients or you need to keep a copy of that. So if they request, they can provide a detailed vehicle log of these expenses. So we were talking about this section here, allocation to the employment expenses, business or rental statement. So I have entered these two entries here. Let's just say he used a little bit of mileage of 1,000 kilometers just going and dealing with rental property stuff, but achieved a little bit more for dealing with ice cream business, let's say 10,000 kilometer. So you just decide that decide the mileage that applies to each income statement listed here, and then TaxCycle uses that to calculate a personal amount versus the amount claimed on each statement in the rest of this table. Well, most of it flows from the details of the motor vehicle expenses, and we will get into that in a minute. So, yeah, everything that you see, you will see on the expenses, CCA, terminal loss. We will get that information from the below sections. But there are a couple of expenses that need to be entered directly in this table. Those are parking fees and supplementary business insurances, so that it's associated directly with each business, so that it relates to. But these only applies if you are doing it in T777 for employment expenses. You need to do that on the T777 worksheet instead. It says under here, these little tags on the form, they're actually really helpful that way. And for employer reimbursements, that only applies to T777 worksheets or forms for employment expenses. So let's move a little bit further down here and down on the motor vehicle expenses. This is where you can enter the information about fuel. Let's say it's 1,200, and then you can put some information or data on maintenance and repair. Let's say they have if they spent a fair amount of fuel and they have done some repairs. The thing here is to choose what column you want to put things in. If you are claiming the GST and HST rebate, you need to choose the appropriate tax rate and put the amount under there. And if you are not, if it's not eligible or you're not claiming the rebate, you put it in this final column here. Certain things like insurance. Let's say it's 1,600, and then license or registration, of course, are not eligible for the rebate at all. So anything in this table will flow back up to the allocation table above. And you can see that slowly the expenses are getting apportioned out here for each statement. All right, so let's imagine that he hasn't had a loan on this vehicle, and we are going to claim the interest on that loan. So we're going to go scroll it down and come under chart 1. And I am going to make a number I'm going to make up a number here. Let's say 2,500, because it's been a while since I have had a loan on a vehicle. So let's imagine he had a fair amount of interest, and then you need to enter the date for the year in which he paid the interest. Now let's enter, and even if this loan extends to 2026 or something like that, you don't want to enter that. It always must end at the end of the current year. So he purchased it this year, so we have a date that he acquired. So we're gonna put 2023 0101, and of course I need to make sure that it's ending, so it's 2023 12/31, because it's gonna be the full year. And why this is important is because TaxCycle will of course limit the claim that can be made based on the days of the year that there was a loan against this vehicle. So it's just so it does that automatically, and then we can go back up at the top as soon as we enter it, so you can see that. And in this table here, you can see that we have an interest on vehicle loan. That column has filled with the number. So let's talk about CCA. This vehicle, since it's new, so also has some CCA related to it. So down at the bottom here, I have scrolled it down. Because it's the first year, I need to make sure that I'm claiming my acquisition this year on the CCA. So first thing I'm going to do is select the class. I have 3 options here, so I can click on this drop down arrow. And now, of course, vehicles that are under 36,000 are class 10, and vehicles that cost more than that is 10.1. And then we have our zero emission vehicle that is new. This is class 54, that are acquired this year. So there is a different CCA for that. So in this case, he's not got a zero emission vehicle, but 4E series do run a little bit more than the 36,000. So we are going to put that in here. So let's select 10.1. Now, I'm going to show you something first before I put the acquisition information. If I had acquired this item in the prior year, TaxCycle would have added the UCC in here already. But you can also enter it if you have a new client. Say this is the vehicle that has been around for a while. For example, if there is a 28,000, sorry, let's put that 10.1 here, and then we have a UCC, and then that's what we were trying to enter, 28,000, let's say that that left. And then I don't have to worry about this acquisition section, and the TaxCycle doing the calculation on the right side here. Likewise, if you acquired the vehicle the prior year and then you sold it this time, down at the bottom, you can see you can enter the proceeds of disposition here. So we can enter, let's say, 20,000 here. And you can see the note, it says at the bottom, if I just scroll it down a little bit, that a vehicle purchased after November 2018 is eligible for accelerated CCA. Data acquired must be provided. So that's important right now. So that must be provided. Okay, so I have got to make sure to do that so that I can get the right CCA calculation here. And the price before the taxes, let's do that as well. So let me go back here, and date of acquisition, let's say 2023 0101, and we want to put in vehicle sold. We want to say yes. So this is the information that we have put in, and everything that we are putting as we are entering it this area. We can see that there is information that is being updated on the right side, and everything that we need to carry forward to the next year. At the bottom here, you can select the sales tax as well. That is depending on where you are in the province, so that's correctly included. So you can select according to your province, but we are good with this GST, and of course flows all the way back up at the top. And if we go and look at the top here, you can see that we have a CCA included at the top, this worksheet, and also is apportioned out based on the mileage for each statement. Now, let's go back. And what I wanted to show you that if we, let's let's remove this, and then because we just want to mention that this is acquired cost, we can put in 37,000. Okay, I need to enter some information in a correct price. So price, I need to put, sorry, that's not should be there, that should be here. That is, let's say it was 37,000. So we are good with this amount because we just wanted to show that this is the vehicle that is acquired this year in 2023. That's how we get the information in CCA included as well at the top. All right, so now what I want to show you another thing that is creating a second motor vehicle worksheet. So really quick. So you can go on the sidebar and click on motor vehicle, and then we can make another motor vehicle here. Let's say Ford, and then let's say F-150 truck, and imagine that was acquired in 2021, and then 2021-0202. Okay, so let's say that he drove around 20,000 kilometer, and then we can say yes, we want to make this up here, and then for the rental of property, he used it for 5,000, and then for ice cream, it's a little bit lesser, so we can have it here. And we want to scroll it down. What I want to show you here is leasing cost for passenger vehicles. This is in chart 2. And this information, of course, once you have entered it once, as much as possible will get carried forward year over year. So lease end date, let's say 2024. 0202, and then let's say we have paid for this year 6,000, and then deduction for the prior year we want to say let's say we have been paying for it from 2 to 3 years, and it has been 12,000 worth of a lease payment already, and then you need a manufacturer list price for this. That could be, let's say, 37,000. I'm not sure how much is the exact cost to buy a big trucks like this, but let's assume 37,000. And then TaxCycle will basically take care of the rest for you. And you do want to take a look at imputed interest in here, or on the refundable amount, reimbursements, and other sections. So do pay attention. But this amount will again flow nicely back up on the expense worksheet, and then you can see that we do have a portion of expense in here. All right. Another thing I want to show you is that if we go back to T2125, you will be able to see that vehicle expenses, all of that has been come in here, motor vehicle expenses, but not including CCA. But for that, we can look into the Part 5 Chart A. Under that, motor vehicle expenses, and including the CCA information, we have it all there. And if we have a spouse as a partner, we can scroll it down and choose a spouse as a partner, and then mention the partnership here as well. All right, I think this is all I wanted to share with you today. If there is any question that you have, I would suggest to you that you go to our resources page where you can ask, where you can type in that is the keyword that is related to motor vehicle expenses, and you will get all the resources, all the things that all the resources that we have related to motor vehicle, all the videos or help articles. And thank you everyone for joining us today, and have a good rest of the day.